As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 106 of Zero to Hero, presented by J29 Creative Group. We have another awesome guest coming at you today. For the last 45 years, our next guest has been turning ordinary, or what could be ordinary, into absolutely beautiful pieces of art that we get to walk by and live by every day. His name is Bill Zahner. He is the CEO of Zahner Company. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Bill, how are you this morning?
Good. How are you all?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for asking, and thanks for joining us. Before we get into the show, talk a little bit about what you guys do over there at Zahner and what you've got coming up.
Well, Zahner is we're an engineering, fabrication, and installation company, and we work specifically in architectural metals. We work on art and architecture. A lot of interesting things underway right now. Probably one of the going on here, one of the more major pieces is one of the biggest jobs we've ever taken on, and it's the Cadet Chapel in Colorado Springs. We're removing the entire surface and rebuilding it, putting it back together. The building was built 60 some years ago, and we're restoring it back to like new, hopefully. But it's an incredibly challenging project because we're introducing more modern techniques of fabrication and assembly into the process, which is really, for me, quite fun.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. That's an incredible campus as well. And if you haven't had the opportunity to go out and check out the Air Force Academy out there in Colorado Springs, definitely do yourself a favor and get out there and look at that. But that's kind of the type of buildings that we're dealing with here with Zahner. I mean, it's not your run of the mill, downtown buildings. These are truly beautiful works of art. And that building was a work of art already. I'm sure you guys are going to go in there and absolutely revitalize it. It's probably been 20 years since I saw it last, but no, that's extremely exciting. That's a cool project to be working on.
And that's really the point of what our company does is we work on buildings. We like to call them generational, because we're not building them just strictly for the now. We want future generations we want the materials and the surface and things to be as remarkable 50, 100 years from now as they are today. I mean, the buildings you see in Europe and New York City, the Chrysler building, and it's an old one for America. It's over 100 years old, yet it still is a striking a piece of iconic architecture. We got another one that's a wild one too. Your listeners would probably enjoy. It's the California Science Center.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's where the one of the space shuttles is going to be housed for people to see it. And so we have to build the surface that goes around it while the space shuttle's there. So they're going to erect the space shuttle up and the tanks and everything, and then we kind of go around it. I just tell our people, don't drop a panel. But projects like that are a lot of fun.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Obviously, like you mentioned, incredible risk going on when we're building around a space shuttle, but I'm sure you've got your experts out there that are going to handle that, knock that out of the park, no problem. So that's awesome. Yeah, and by the way, if you want to get an idea of what we're talking about here with some of the projects that Zahner has worked on, definitely get over to their website. I was just telling Bill before we started the show, they've got a great Pinterest page where you can go on there and kind of take a look at some of the different things that they've built, and they do a fantastic job with their Instagram as well. So let's get into it here a little bit, Bill. Kind of putting Zahner aside. I know that's who you are. That's what you've done for the last 45 years. But kind of outside of the business, who is Bill Zahner? Give us your elevator pitch.
I'm an old guy. The company's 127 years old, and I've been around for 45 plus. I think my father brought me down here to sort screws when I was 10 years old. But what I get, I spend my time half in Kansas City and half in Santa Fe now, which is really, it's nice to get out in a place like Santa Fe, New Mexico, where you're kind of in nature and in art, and those are both things that I enjoy a lot. I'm also a writer. I've written and published 7 books on architectural metal. But I also have written my first novel. I'm trying to get it published, and I think it's probably because I've been around metal too much. I enjoy getting out there and experiencing the natural world as much as I do looking at great art and architecture.
Absolutely. No, I mean, obviously there's beautiful parts of just nature, right? And then you've got your art that you can add to it, and it's kind of the best of both worlds, right? You're experiencing the world and its natural beauty, but then you're also creating a beautiful world as well. So it's kind of a cool way to look at it. So obviously, when Zahner started 127 years ago, there was no internet. There surely was no social media. Marketing looked significantly different back then. But talk to us a little bit about how that transition has been for you guys, in the last 20, 25 years of, maybe some TV, radio, print marketing, to how you guys have utilized social media and use that throughout your journey.
Sure. I mean, yeah, definitely back in the 1897 when it started, I think probably you wrote a lot of written little notes on stuff, I suppose. The thing that's changed, I think, today, and it's really going incredibly fast, is the whole aspect of social media. I mean, young people use it for getting their information out, and we started digging into ways of communicating what we do, working with designers and trying to find ways of giving them our tools via the working through the internet on different scripts and different things that they could utilize of ours that tie us closer together. Things are moving much quicker too, and which you got to embrace it. Definitely have to embrace it. And I tell our engineering group, bunch of young people, really really bloody smart. Whenever I have the opportunity to talk with them, I say, don't quit learning. I'm 69 years old this year, and I look at the fact that I just still want to learn and keep learning. And the internet allows for so quick dissemination of information, but stretch it yourself. Don't take it for what it is. Try and dig deeper, is to keep asking why. And I enjoy the research and development of the product and the things that we do, because it allows us to go deeper into why something is what it is. So a lot of if you ever came to our facility here, we have a facility in Texas, you would see a lot of experimentation going on as well. And that information is gathered from sources all over the place. And then you have this interconnectedness of people that find you, that have similar interests or want to find out certain things about it. So like, for instance, we're on my books, I'm trying to figure ways of creating this, not an artificial intelligence per se, but to start with artificial intelligence, you're starting with a lot of metadata. Well, I've got all this data that over the years it collected, that if there's some way to be able to put that in a form that people can access it when they're doing their research or when they want to stretch further. And I think that's the fun part. I wish I was young, because I think the opportunities for young people today, if they embrace them, is going to be quite amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys are really not even, I mean, you're using it obviously to get your projects out there, but really you guys are using it more to take information in.
Yes.
That's
and
awesome.
and then create it, and then get it out there, for I like to say that we're the hands of the artist, and it was a kind of something we kind of set up years ago. But the idea is that we want to work with the creative people around the world, and be their hands, but at the same time influence their minds and different things they may not have thought of.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I think that's where the heart of where we are as a company, and where I'm as a person.
Just kind of sharing what the realm of possibility actually is, as far as designing the outside of these spaces. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah, or more so, find the boundary and move it.
Yeah. Okay. I like
Move the
that.
boundary out. I mean, we find ourselves constrained by so many things. Well, and then the minute you push it out further, and then push it out, just don't feel the constraint. Challenge it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, definitely push those boundaries. That's something superheroes do quite a bit. Getting back to the theme of our show, right? They're always kind of pushing that boundary a little bit further. What do and when we talk about that, obviously all superheroes have kind of a defining moment that shifts where they're going. What do you think yours is or was your defining moment? Not only when we're talking about your career, but your life as well.
Well, in the career standpoint, one thing I can remember was a defining moment, or several of them really, but one, in particular, was very, very, very early on. I heard a lecture from the great architect Fay Jones, and Fay Jones was a contemporary, or worked with Frank Lloyd Wright at one point in his career. Fay Jones is no longer alive, and I heard a lecture. My background, civil engineering, my education, civil engineering. And I remember sitting there in this lecture, and he's describing the way certain things look, the way the proportions work, the way light interfaces with surfaces and textures and mass. That opened something up in my mind, and I was like going, yeah, that's why something looks good. And then later on, I met people like Frank Gehry and Antoine Predock. Antoine Predock just died last week. Great architects that they challenged the edges and pushed those edges out. And I just, talking with them and Tom Main and others over the years, Stephen Hall, they're all learning. They're all continuing to experiment and learn and push the edge. And that's something that I embrace. And I think that's both from a career standpoint, you find yourself sometimes in today's world where everything is the computer, and everything is, you're no longer drawing so much with your hand as much as you're creating on the computer. And I think that introduces certain constraints on your design and development. And I think the idea is to use that and try and find ways of popping that out further. And I know, like, some of the designers, they use rapid prototyping to create the piece, and then they stretch and pull and shape it. And the other aspect is, there's material things that get play into it. But back to Faye Jones, so you have the material part, but you also have the natural part, the way light, what you're seeing and what you're feeling are introduced from the outside. And so many projects that we do that I think are the most remarkable ones are the ones that we look at with even the design team afterwards and go, wow, we never thought it would do that. We never thought it would look that way. It's when you see a great photograph, it's the way they've captured certain things at a certain period of time, but it's the way the light and this work in shadows work with that surface. Anyhow, that's probably moving off into a direction that's probably different than you wanted.
No, I'd love to hear that though. I mean, that's so incredible to hear that you guys go through this whole process of creating this and putting the work into, what is it going to look like, and then you surprised yourself because it's even better than than what you could have possibly expected once you actually get it there and built and installed. So that's really cool to hear. And I think he did share several defining moments kind of throughout that as well with lectures and different things that you're hearing too. So no, that's a fantastic answer, and I love that you expanded on it for sure. Bill, superheroes have attributes as well as villains, right? What do you think are the attributes that really define more so what a hero is?
Well, it's something that's one of my heroes was my father, and one of the things that we're a company of people. There's 160 or whatever different families, and mine just happens to be a name on the door. But he always said to me, treat people with respect and dignity. And I remember people telling me, your father can talk to the guy sweeping up the floor of the shop the same way he talks to the a senator. He treats them, it's this respect and dignity aspect. And I think there's something that we lose it in today's world a little bit. Sometimes you're seeing it a little bit in our politics, but it's this lack of respect and dignity in the fact of what people are putting into their lives. And the people that work for us are fantastic craftspeople, and sometimes they have their lives they're going through, and they have things that they're trying to overcome that you don't even know of. But treat them with respect and dignity, and I think it gets you through. It gets you a lot more connected as you move through life. So I've often kept that little saying in the back of my head. If you're firing somebody or something's not working out, still treat them with respect and dignity.
Yeah,
because it's somebody else's life.
Absolutely, right? Business is business, but there's no reason to talk down to anyone, right?
No.
I mean, obviously you have to make business decisions, and some people are good fits and some people aren't, and it's good to help those people find where they are a good fit, right? But that doesn't mean they're any less than anybody else. So yeah, I think you absolutely nailed it. There's obviously a certain level of empathy that goes along with that as well when we're talking about how we treat people with respect and dignity as well. So I think you absolutely nailed it, Bill. I'm asking you the hard one here. This is the one that catches quite a few of our guests up. If you had to compare yourself to any superhero that's out there, who do you think that would be? And tell us a couple reasons why.
Oh, that is a tricky one.
I'm asking you to toot your own horn here a little bit. So don't be shy.
Well, the superhero I always liked as a kid was Flash.
Okay.
I thought this guy, because I'm slower and I could never, big slow guy, and this guy could zip all over the place, and he wore this kind of neat red outfit with funny yellow wings on his ears or something. I don't know if I was going to compare myself to a superhero. That is tricky, I suppose. I kind of like Batman, I suppose. He's
Okay.
just a kind of quiet, reserved person that he's there when you need him.
I love it. I love it. That's not where I would have expected you to go. I was full on expecting to hear Iron Man, just with the the fabrication and the engineering background that he's got. But that makes perfect. I love that. I love that. He's there when you need him, and he's in the shadow otherwise. That's perfect, Bill. Well, Bill, thank you for coming on the show. How can people go check out your amazing pieces of art? Where can they find you? How can they get a hold of you if they've got questions? Where's all your stuff at?
Well, the easiest place is our website, www.azahner.com. Thank you. And that shows a lot of the current things we're working on. We try and keep it up to date. And through that, you can also contact me and others within my group. We're doing some pretty fun stuff. It's the other thing. Every time you watch football, we did the SoFi Stadium skin, and that's one that to me, is beautiful. I actually experienced it with my son not too long ago, and one of the things, back to what I said about the experience, the light coming through that canopy is superb, and it's remarkable. Feel like I'm in a forest.
You can see it on the TV too. I mean, obviously it's going to be vastly different in real life, right? And experiencing that in person, but I mean, you can really tell that place is just gorgeous all the way around.
That designer did a fantastic job, and we executed very well. That's when it's so much fun. Anyhow, thank you.
Yeah, no, that one's awesome. And be sure to check out their other socials as well. They've got some great content on their Instagram page. Lots of beautiful pictures of stuff that they've worked on there. And then the Facebook as well has quite a bit. And then I think I've got your Pinterest on here somewhere. They are on Pinterest. Zahner Metal on Pinterest. Check them out. Great Pinterest page there as well. Bill, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. You are absolutely awesome. I can't wait to see what Zahner does over the next 127 years.
Thank you. Take care, Gino.
You too. There it is.
Hey, are we still live? Hey guys, we're still live. Hey guys, this is Kevin Kwok, founder of J29 Creative Group. So who are we? We're a marketing agency here in Kansas City. We're all about a holistic approach to marketing that builds your brand and nurtures online community. But to be honest with you, you guys don't care.